Who's got to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, could I get a motion for the approval of today's agenda?
I'll make a motion for that.
A second.
The only thing I'm going to add is under the new business, I'm going to talk about the budget meetings because I know Fred had some concerns, so we'll talk about that. So I'm going to add that to the agenda. Okay, any other additions to the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have to approve the minutes we had 2 minutes for the special board meeting, the regular board meeting, September 10th. And then we had a special board meeting on October 1st to discuss the recycling center. So could have a motion for the
So
approval?
moved for a motion.
Second.
Is there any corrections or additions to those minutes?
I did.
Mike.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public participation. If anybody would like to be heard.
Okay. You blew it with the waste removal, shall we call it? I grew up calling it a dump, but I guess once you put all that kind of money into a building, it's some other fancy name, so you really can't call it the town dump anymore. Yes, there was communication one that I know of that said it would go up to $9. Now, I kind of believe in the purpose of contracts. Contracts have expiration dates. Contracts have stated goals. If somebody fell down on the job, when you walk in on a Saturday morning, not only do you see that it's gone up to $9 a bag, but then they want $9 for the recyclable bag. That was unacceptable. And then I guess there was some backtracking in terms of, September 30th, and we'll get bids and whatever. My problem is the ball was dropped well before that. I have talked to other towns. They know what's coming down the road, and I'll be quick. I think my real problem is, yes, handing them a $20 bill and getting $2 back is not acceptable. But my main concern is, what other contracts do we have that are not being taken care of, that are not being watched? Because, you fall down once, chances are you're going to fall down again. And I think that needs to be stressed.
All right, we're not supposed to debate back and forth, but I'll give you a little bit of history on this. They came to us, well, first of all, We Care is who we had the contract with. We Care sold their business to Casella about in November of 2018. And since then, We Care's contract had expired. And in the contract, it was written that
So you did not have one with,
no, in the contract, it said whoever the successor was would maintain the current contract unless they notified us to negotiate a new contract. And the terms of the agreement would stay in place till then. We purposely did not contact them because we knew the price would go up, and we were able to maintain the same price.
negotiating time begins.
Well, we knew the negotiating time was going to cost the
Let the
residents more
games
money.
begin.
And so after that, what happened was they came to us in the last week in August of this year. And they said, we are losing approximately $3,000 a month. We can no longer do that. In the contract, it says that, they had to give us notice that we're gonna raise it, and they wanted to raise it that week. We said, you can't just do it right away, so they put out a notice to let
Well,
people
they had
know.
what was holding them back?
Well, they didn't know up until they did an audit that they were losing money. So they raised the rates, knowing that they gave us their 60-day notice, that according to the contract, they gave us 60 days notice that they were gonna terminate the contract and they were no longer gonna do that
Which
job.
both sides had, or we had the right to do that too.
Both sides hit a third.
When the town entered into the agreement with We Care, the town board the then town board at that time did not want a long-term contract. We wanted to be able to have either side be able to terminate in case things did not work out.
So prior to the 60 days, we were able to, within less than 60 days, I think it was like 45 days, the time they gave us notice, the time we did an RFP, and the time we had 2 special board meetings to discuss this, we were able to solicit 2 other bids. The third person who we solicited, first of all, nobody wanted to bid on it, but the people who did bid came back, and the cost of doing business was gonna be, one price was $15 a bag, and the town had a guarantee $5,000 for that one contract, and the other one was $7 a bag, but the town had a guaranteed $9,000 a month in revenue. And looking at the current sales, that means the town would be subsidizing over $3,000 a month to continue with the recycling center. Knowing what the cost is.
So it wasn't a deal, okay.
So knowing what the cost was, it's cheaper for everybody, because it would have been, even at $7 or $15 a bag, it's cheaper to have it picked up at your curb for $7 a week. Why would someone take a 25-pound bag for $7, or you can get it picked up, a 45-gallon container for $7 at the end of your driveway? It makes no sense to have a resident haul their trash, and they were going to enforce a 25-pound limit. So it made no sense for anybody. It was cheaper for the residents, and it's cheaper for the town not to continue with the recycling center. The one thing that I would probably bring up, that people have requested, and it'd be a board decision whether they want to go forward or not, is, do we go out and get an RFP for a town-wide curbside pickup, which means then we would have to create a garbage district, and then everybody in that district would be charged on their taxes a fee, which would probably be cheaper than the $7 a week that an individual contractor would pay. You may only save $2 a week, but there's a savings. But it would have to go to a public referendum, be voted on, and it would be determined by the taxpayers whether or not they wanted to form a special district. So those are the options that we have. There's no other options that we have at this point. We spent hundreds of hours on this topic, researching it. And for you to come in here and tell us that, we've dropped the ball, you're not doing your homework on your end.
I'm not hearing,
Yeah.
and this is, I think, what people have been aggravated about, is what I'm not hearing is that there was enough foresight into this. Curbside pick, town-wide, if we've got the building, if we've got certain equipment, they're out picking up trees right now, so obviously, if there's some, I was gonna use the word manpower, but I wouldn't. If there were some, staffing and equipment, and believe me, it's not, I don't minimize the decision at all. But what I'm saying is, this is way too late. Why wasn't that? It doesn't instill any kind of confidence in the system when this is all post facto.
Well, the public to be heard participation, we're not supposed to be arguing or talking back and forth.
And
We're
I'm
supposed to-
not.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
So
not.
what
I'm
we're gonna
answering
do
your
is,
question,
and you're supposed
and
to,
I'm saying,
is there-
my
Yeah, we understand.
thought then is also, what else is what other contractor do?
Is
You
there anything new to the conversation you would like to add before we go on to the next person, if anybody else?
No, go ahead. I'm
Okay,
just saying,
I
you
understand.
need to know face to face that there are people out there who understand what's going on, and you need to think long-term down the line and understand that decisions have consequences, contracts have consequences, and, you know,
Thank you. Jerry, anybody else online that want to communicate?
Are you unmuted there?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Yep. So you guys see that? Nothing, Jerry?
Well, the only thing I mentioned is that people that I have talked to are wondering if the town is going to put up a referendum to do it wide, and I really don't have any idea if that's feasible or not.
Well, I can tell you that going from experience talking with the Niles people, their Niles is like half the size that we are. Their annual budget for trash pickup is over $250,000. So, but it's based on population. So if we wanted to go out for an RFP, we could do that and see what the costs come back as. And then if the board at that point wants to pursue that further, then we would have to go out and do a public referendum and a public vote so that the tax, and we had to form a district in order for the taxpayers to be able to fund that district. So there might be some savings there, but it would be up to the board to decide that. And we're going to go in further discussion on that.
Well, it might, after hearing that, it may not be worth it overall
Well, if you could
to
save,
even go through that.
if you could save $2 a week, it would save every house in Owasco $100 a year. You know, so it may be worth it because it'd be one bill that they send, not
Monthly billing.
not 1,000 bills every month. They would report to one, you
It's
know.
much easier to keep track of because you don't have to look at your log of who's paying
Yeah.
for service, who's not.
Yeah. So there's a lot of advantages in economy and scales for the vendor to
Townwide.
provide that, especially volume and stuff like that. So efficiency and that stuff. You know, so there's a lot of, it'd be a lot of detail to work out, especially with the fire lanes and how the fire lanes would work, whether we even do the fire lanes or not, because if you form a district, you can exclude certain geographic areas. So there's been some thought put into that already, and but it will be a board decision to go forward on that. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, I'll go to the next item on the list would be communications. I did get a phone call from the Cuda County Emergency Management Office asking us to reconsider joining the mitigation plan. Last time we did this, it was 5 years ago. It's a 5-year plan. And I know I filled out the plan last time and submitted it. The reason why they would like us to participate was that if there was a situation like a tornado or a major storm like yesterday that happened, or even including now, it could be harmful algal blooms, which could be considered a disaster. Then if we're not part of this emergency management office, we would not be qualified for any federal relief or grants that may come about for that. So, and I told her that the board made a decision last month not to participate based on what Timmy had told us about. Timmy did participate in those meetings. And so they last time when we did this 5 years ago, we had 21 out of 21 towns participate. As of, I guess, the Michelle Wunderlich, who administered the process last time for the hazardous mitigation plan, she was directly involved and talked to all the towns, and she feels that the people who are heading up this mitigation plans didn't articulate the scope of why you should participate. And right now, there's about half the towns in the county who have not even replied. So, at least we replied. Some of them haven't replied. So they wanted to know if we wanted to reconsider that. So I bring it up for discussion if anybody wants to add to that.
I think we didn't see a whole lot of benefit in it last time. Did they provide any additional information with regard to the benefits to us that we didn't have previously?
It was just the funding process, if something could happen. And the one thing that kind of struck a chord with me, especially with the harmful algal blooms, if there was a major outbreak and we didn't have it, and if we had some type of preventive maintenance type thing, that would qualify us for funding to get, I don't know how much funding is going to be out there, with COVID, there's not going to be a lot of free money out there anymore.
And the downside, as I remember, was the time that we would have to spend,
All the
right?
legwork,
The
yeah.
effort, it doesn't.
Yeah.
We would have to establish a team, a committee of town residents and a couple of ourselves, and then basically attend the county meetings for a few months while they do the mitigation plan, and then piggyback on someone else's plan or the county's plan, or create our own county or town plan. And then it would be adopted through the town board, and then the county would adopt it.
Is there is there a deadline?
The deadlines, everything's got to be done by November 1st, November 5th, something like that. So it'd be this month only. So you have 2 weeks to get this. So someone's got to drop a plan to go forward with it and piggyback off the county. So I think it's just a matter of writing up a couple of items that may or may not, happen. But at least if you're part of it,
It opens up to the option of funding if we needed it.
yeah.
If we needed
There's
to,
funding there.
if we needed to meet again between now and the end of the month, I'm sure we could put something together, even if it was a remote meeting, if we needed to do that. I don't know that we've got any conflicting information that we didn't have before, really, I mean, if we were going to be part of it, I'd want to see the paperwork, before I voted on it.
Well,
So-
we can see what we did last time. I don't remember what I did last time,
Right.
and so I can share that and see what I get more information. I can
Yeah,
send out
if you
to
share
everybody.
that and I might, if no one has any objections, reach out myself to EMO and make some inquiries.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know also one of the stipulations was you have to, and I was talking to Tammy about it, something about the insurance. We have to have kind of a clause with our insurance that we have this plan in place. That way they already know about it ahead of time. And then they would get a copy of it, I guess.
Okay, that was it for communications. New business. Tammy had done some research and she would like to accept credit card payments through the our via Municipay. We tried other ones, and so she recommends this particular one. Does anybody have any objections to that?
No, I was just curious, do they pass the charge fee on to the residents?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't pay it. We can't pay it. That's illegal for the town to pay.
The
it.
charge
It's just like I
goes
did
back
it
to the
before. So we
homeowner.
had it for those 3 years. And then the company that runs the software, parted ways with the credit card company. And that's
Recording
the
fund?
only company they'll let into the software. So if someone went in, they need to see their bill and pay their bill.
Yeah.
And so then last year they were trying to put another plan together. They didn't get it together. And then this year they went with Municipay, which a lot of municipalities do use Municipay. So it is, and it's I didn't even have it in my folder. It's like 2.6. It's the
2.75,
same
yeah.
that the other one, and the town can't legally pay it. The people will pay it. That's their convenience. And people were upset when we got rid of it last year, but it wasn't us, it was the software company. So
Yep.
this is a way for those who want to pay that fee, then they can pay that fee.
Sounds good.
But it's all cut and dry. It's just a regular.
So the people are told in advance that there will be a charge?
Oh, yeah, it shows it right on there.
It's like going to a foreign ATM
No, I
machine.
know what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
search.
yeah.
Yep.
No, I know what it is. But some people would say, oh, good, I'll get my points with it.
Airline
There's
points.
some people need a place, but then there's other people that
Convenient.
really just don't have the money and that's the only way they.
That's
can
what I've been
pay, so
doing lately, credit card for
It's an
everything.
option for them.
Okay, the only thing else in the new business is, I sent emails out to everybody on the budget, hearing, budget meetings. The reasons, last several years, it only took a day and a half to complete most of the budget hearings. And so, one of the things, Darcel has to be part of the meeting because she has to navigate her computer and stuff. And she has to be out by 4 o'clock because she's a caregiver for her father who's an invalid, and so she cannot stay past 4 o'clock. Her normal working hours is 3:30. So one of the things that, what we could do, I don't, everybody else here is okay with, but Fred had some conflict by going 3 days in a row. We scheduled 3 days in a row just because in case there is a problem. But it's normally it's a day and a half. To make it easier, would you be able to do 1 day, 1 week, and 1 day the following week?
Oh, yeah.
That,
do it virtually?
you can do
Well,
it.
my problem is that I don't get out of work until 4, 5, 6 o'clock, so if I, it's fairly easy for me to take some time and scoot out here and there. But
That would be better than you attending the meeting virtually from your office, which would take away your time from what you're supposed to be doing.
right. So 1 day a week, 1 week and 1 day the next week would be better.
Let's do it that way.
Yeah, you wanna do one.
Okay, what time's better, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock?
That doesn't matter.
All right,
Whatever works for everybody else.
So if we do Wednesday and
1 o'clock. Or...
the reason,
October 21.
here's the schedule that state puts out for us.
Mhm.
Tammy has to receive the preliminary budget by October 5th, which she did. By 11/5 is when we have to have a public hearing. So it's before our next board meeting. So we're going to schedule a special budget meeting before, we're probably going to do it November 4th, because it has to be done by the 5th. And then we'll have our board, and that has to be a public hearing. And then at that point, we can, delay it to our next board meeting, or everything has to be complete by no later than November 20th. So at our regular scheduled November board meeting, we can approve the budget at that time, which would give us plenty of time before the final budget. But we need at least 2 days, at least 3 hours each day. I don't think the second day is we'll know after how much we get done the first week, how long we're gonna be on the second week. But I don't anticipate it being, because right now we're anticipating a 10% decrease in revenue next year. So I anticipate we're not gonna be adding anything to our budget. So I anticipate it's gonna be a flat or a negative budget from where we are this year. So if anything, the only discussion is gonna be where we're gonna cut. So that's gonna be the topic. So, and I think Darcel will have pretty much on the tentative budget, most of that, gets flushed out, but we may have some things that the board may want to bring forward for any special projects, interest, stuff like that, going forward. So
if she wants to go out by 4, let's start at 1.
start at 1 o'clock.
Well, what dates are we talking?
When was it? Was it
21 was the first one.
We're gonna go with the 21.
is that a Wednesday?
That's a Wednesday.
Wednesday and 21 and 28 then.
At what time, at what time?
One o'clock.
Gotta have that
1
in the
o'clock?
paper, though. Let's see.
Yeah, that's why we're going to do this.
Mhm.
And then we'll schedule the budget meeting for the 4th at 7 o'clock at night, because it'll be a budget. That's when we want, hopefully most people can be here. So we'll go at
Does
7
this have
o'clock
to
at
be
night.
in so many days, though? Wait a minute, the public hearing.
Well, we got the 21st.
We got 3 weeks
To the public hearing? I thought you said you're not gonna have it though.
to November 4th.
Well, if we're having a meeting on the 28th, I need to get it in the citizen. That's not,
No, we can put it in now.
Put it in now, so you got 3 weeks notice.
I have to now put the workshops in. But the public hearing goes in after the budget's tentative preliminary budget.
Well, maybe
is
that
complete.
Monday. Is that Monday?
Do you see what I'm saying?
It's a Wednesday then Monday. So maybe we go Monday instead. They'll give us up. You gotta have 5 days, is it, Rick? 5 days?
And I can't guarantee, like, if I called them at 28th at night,
No, we call them ahead of time. Tell me when, when it's day.
Yeah, you book it for.
There's no papers.
Just
We book
Right, I
it.
just know you need the 5 days is my
No.
thing. I just have to make sure we got 5 days.
So it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I could do Monday.
Yeah, all
I
right.
could do,
Wednesday,
we do the
Monday.
Wednesday and then the following Monday.
Yep.
26, 21, 26.
21, 26. Okay,
Both at 1 o'clock.
both at 1 o'clock.
1 to 4. Yeah.
And then we'll schedule 7 o'clock on the 4th. Would give us plenty of time to give us the 5 days public notice situation. Okay,
The
Yep.
4th, what did you say, the 4th?
Got it.
7 o'clock at night.
You
Yeah.
okay with the 4th?
That way, people are at work and attend. Not that we'll get anybody, but in case they want to attend, they can.
Do a pre-election day party that night.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Okay. Next thing is, under old business, things have changed again with the city of Auburn. We were going to do a joint meeting with the city of Auburn City Council, to go over hopefully approve the rules and regulations. Everybody's got copies of the last draft. We're going to, the county was gonna schedule it at Emerson Park and do a joint meeting there. But the city, asked if they could have it at their place because they want to have their owl, their recording stuff and all that information. They didn't want to bring everything up to the Emerson Park, set it up, and get it done. They thought it'd be much easier to have it at their location. So, does anybody have any objections at having it at City Hall instead of having it at Emerson Park? They'll probably be warmer.
Probably better.
The county doesn't pay their utility bills. So we'll have it there. So put it on your schedule. I believe it's at 5 o'clock. And I don't think they changed it, but I will verify that and let everybody know. Plus there'll be something in the paper letting everybody know that it'll be a joint budget meeting, a public meeting
City
to
and county.
discuss the proposed Owasco Lake watershed rules and regulations. And if we approve it, both the two prevailers, the town and the city approve it, then it gets forwarded to the state for their review. It could take anywhere up to a year to get the response back. And then, I'm guessing either they accept it or they're gonna make changes or saying things may or may not work, and they may send it back, and we may have to reapprove their corrections down the road. But once that happens, and and again, we are going to be the model for the rest of the state, because everybody is waiting for us to finish ours before they start theirs. So this is gonna be the first time. Our rules haven't been updated since 1983.
You're gonna bring refreshments.
Yeah, I'll bring refreshments. I'll bring drinking water from Owasco Lake, I'll tell you. Okay. All right, any questions on that?
I'll
The
make
next-
a motion for the next one.
Okay, the next one is a resolution for us to make a pledge from the Owasco Lake Watershed Management Council, which we are a major contributing member of, and they would like us to, it's a ceremonial pledge more than anything else. Tim made a motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
The next thing is a resolution to approve the 2021 amendments to the municipal cooperative agreement with the Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Insurance Consortium.
Move.
Motion by Fred,
Second.
second by Tony. Any questions on this? This is the annual thing that we have to do, and then we have to send a certified copy to them that this board approved it after, if we approved it after the meeting. Tomorrow, we'll do a certified copy, okay, Tam? Any
Okay.
discussion on this?
You want a certified copy of that one?
It has to go to the insurance company.
Should I abstain tonight, 'cause I'm on the board too?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next resolution is to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Suzie Tracy, who is the animal control, at a yearly salary of $3,900 for a term of January 1st to December 31st.
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Why are we doing it now, not the reorganization?
Because she has to be in place by January 1st, and we, at the reorganization, we won't have any coverage, and according to New York State, we have to have coverage effective, and she sends it out. Last year, we did it at the November meeting, but this thing came in, for the
Get it done,
October
yeah.
meeting in time, so we got it on the agenda. So it doesn't go into effect until now and then, and with most contracts, municipality can withdraw from the contract at any time that you want anyways.
I think I asked this question before, and I'm wondering how many different, providers there are out there when the last time we solicited for other providers.
When we did, there wasn't a lot.
There's not a lot of good ones out
We had
there.
a different provider.
There's
and it
some
didn't
out
work
there.
out.
Yeah, we had a good time.
The last time we went out to RFP, we had I'm not gonna use names,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna say we had a previous contractor. And not that they all have their deficiencies, and one of them is a quick response time.
Mhm.
And by the time someone calls about a barking dog, they kind of get there, but the dog's not barking anymore. The dog's inside the house, so they can't do it unless they see it. So when we had a previous contractor, it was about $100 more per month,
Mhm.
and we basically received more complaints then than we do now. And so.
I gotta say,
we-
she's
to
pretty
answer-
well.
Huh?
She's pretty well cared for us.
Yeah, the second thing was, not that, we do have some complaints that response time,
Yeah.
but, for the most part, there are only, as far as I'm aware, there's only 2 certified animal control specialists in this area. And her being one and the other person being the other one. And, the other one always had his daughter doing it, not him. And so.
There's another one that's real good.
Yeah, to answer your second question, it's been probably 3 years or more since
Yeah,
we went out to bid.
yeah.
So we could table this and go out to bid if you want to do that, or,
Well, and I don't have any preference one way or the other, but I do know that it takes forever to get these people, our current,
Yeah.
because she's coming from like Tompkins County or something, or somewhere.
Maybe.
Summer Hill or something like
So
that.
way down
Yeah.
south. I mean, it takes a long time to get any kind of response. I can't believe that we can't find somebody that's,
Well, you might
that
know
we can-
somebody,
and I don't know, but
Somebody's real good, and
someone locally, yeah.
yeah, he's
You want to table it? I mean, I don't, we just,
I
We
don't
got another
care.
month, yeah.
I'll mention it to this gentleman.
I wouldn't mind
Everybody
seeing us
knows
just
him.
see what's
I
available.
gave his name out.
let's table it, and then, and we'll make the motion to table it, and we'll go out to a bid and see if we can get anything else in.
I would make that motion.
RFP.
Okay.
Okay, second by Mike. Any other things? Good. Next resolution is to allow supervisor to transfer $8,663.92 from the escrow account, which was set up by the previous board 7 years ago, because when we did one of the projects, we were not allowed to, we were under budget by, I think it was, I don't know, $80,000 or something like that. So we weren't allowed to use a one-time expense. So they allowed us to amortize it over a 10-year period. So what we've been doing is taking $8,063 and whatever. Plus we've been accumulating some interest on that. And so whatever the interest would be, that's why at the bottom I said approximately,
Mhm.
because interest comes in and the interest rate's gone way down. And so the interest rates aren't as big as they used to be. So, we have 3 more years left. This is the 7th year, so we've got 8, 9, and 10. So for the next 3 years, they'll have the same resolution every year.
I'll make a motion for that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next one is a resolution to credit Linda Coretti for 60 hours of sick time in accordance to the Family First Corona Response Act.
I was gonna table that until we have the information. I think we wanted to get some more information. I think you got it today, but give you time to review that if you want to.
Well, let's make a motion so we can talk about it.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll make a motion.
okay,
1 second.
okay. Discussion.
So my concern about this is twofold. One, first, the advice that we've gotten from everybody is maybe not. It's it's murky. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to, it could cost us more money to, go through the process than to just give the time, which to me is never the right answer. I don't, if right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't care what the legal costs are. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is, are we supposed to or are we not supposed to? And the answer that we got from Caroline and from Rick are maybe, maybe not. That's not good enough for me. And the other thing is that this investigator from the Federal Department of Labor, he just snowed us as far as I'm concerned, because he said, listen, you got 48 hours or I'm going to have to conduct an investigation. You don't want that. And you know
That's his
what?
job.
You know what? When I say that,
Come at me.
that
Start
means
the investigation.
that means I really don't have what I need, and it's a bigger pain for him to do the investigation than it is for us. Of course, it's easier for them to just get us to comply, to get us to do what they want us to do. This is I just don't care. Now if we got to pay it in the end, we got to pay it in the end. But I want a definite answer from somebody, and if it means that the investigator's got to come in and do his thing, then let him come in and do his thing. Because I bet you, at the end, what's the harm? I don't believe it's going to cost us an arm and a leg. The second problem that I have is that we're having this discussion after it's already been done. That is a huge problem for me. A unilateral decision was made to credit this time after the board decided that she wasn't going to get it. And that's just not the way things are done. We make a decision as a board. The only way to rescind that decision is as a board. And the fact that she's already got her, this resolution means nothing because it's already done. It doesn't say to credit Linda Coretti's 60 hours in time back a week ago. It says we're going to do it as of today. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is nothing because it's already been done. And we're afraid of this federal investigator who's just apparently doesn't want to do his job. Let him do it. That's my pitch.
Well, my
Do
only
you have any
concern was,
backup material?
is that-
Such stuff
I
we
did.
can read?
I
Have you
got
read
it. I've read it, and I think that the legal opinions we've got is correct. Maybe not.
Correct in which way?
Including from the
Can
association.
we
of
all?
towns, too.
Right.
Yeah, Ed got that from,
Yeah. Everybody says maybe she's entitled, maybe she's not.
Maybe?
Yeah.
well, there was.
Where
no
can we get the
authority.
direct skinny?
I relied on the
What's that?
representations of.
Where can
our
we get
Labor
the
Council
fact?
and the Association
Where
of
can we
Towns
get it
Council.
then?
Let them do their investigation. Tell them what to
Well,
tell.
let's hear from Rick.
I sent an email to the board, and I was relying upon what we saw from our Labor Council, Carolyn Westover from Von Schoenke King, as well as the supervisor provided an email from Lori Myth, who's the attorney for the Association of Towns, and that was sent to the entire town board and myself, plus the language that was in the highlighted language from the regs that this investigator provided, I think, to Darcel.
There's no precedent at all.
And then that, I mean, I think those emails
So
from
brand new,
those
yeah.
experts speak for themselves. I mean, from Lori and from Caroline, you know.
it's like uncharted waters.
This is the first time this has happened and
So
in the art.
So the reason why it was done and was settled to the investigator was because when board members replied back, the majority of the board agreed with paying the thing. So we had a majority vote by email. I know email is not, but there was a deadline involved with that. But based on what I read from your email, you recommend paying or reinstating.
Given all the information that we got probably very quickly when Darcel brought it to our attention. Yes, I stand by my email that I sent to the board. And part of that was relying upon Carolyn's concerns and comments on the issue, as well as Lori Mifflin, who, the lead attorney for the Association of Towns.
So you interpreted both the Association of Towns Attorney and Carolyn, our special counsel, to settle the case and to be done with it.
Yes, I think my email speaks for itself, and I think it is fair to say that all of the COVID regulations or executive orders that we see, they're erring toward the side of employees, not employers. And I just think that given the cost of this threat of an investigation, and I don't know what penalties or potential penalties we would be exposed to, show some wrongdoing, which they couldn't be able to do. But you know, our council did advise us, our labor council, of how expensive a true federal Department of Labor investigation could be on something like this. I think that was one of the emails. Either that was sent to everybody or just added me. I just can't remember now. That was offline.
I forward all emails.
Yeah, I know. We tried to best our kind of forward to everybody.
I
You
forwarded
remember
today,
that comment too about
Yeah.
about the cost of an investigation.
any
So,
email that I had, because
Yeah.
our new server saves every email that comes in out of this building. I did
Yeah,
the
you try your best to
abbreviations,
forward it.
and I sent everything that I had to everybody this afternoon when I was able to. I was probably on that.
I was on that too. Came
Yeah.
out at
Okay.
3 o'clock.
So the other thing I wanted to point out too is, one is, I don't agree with the decision that the majority of the board decided to do, was to settle this thing. I agree with Fred, is that, I would be willing to go forward and try to have someone from that federal government, CARES Act, provide, a summary judgment or something to tell us that, that from their, from their point of view, what the situation is. But, with the deadline, and what had happened at the time too, is when I got back from vacation, 2 days later, my son was in the hospital,
Mhm.
and then,
You got a grace period. Remember, you
and
called-
so
you
I
called me for his number from
called and asked the
hospital.
guy for a grace period to extend it from a Friday to a Monday, so I had more time to put things together. So I was doing it from a hospital room when this was all going on. So, as you will see from the emails that I wrote. So, so that's the perspective that, why it was done, from the opinion of 3 legal counsels to do it. And,
So I have one more thing,
Yep.
and then we move on, but, and there was 2 things in our conversations back and forth. There was the question of this particular employee's situation, and then there was the question of, now, employee voluntarily goes to a place where they're, and then the New York State says that you go to whatever, Pennsylvania, and you get quarantined for 14 days.
Yep.
And it was the opinion that I saw that if that was to happen, we've got to give 10 days of pay.
yes,
So what that means,
that's to the federal government, not to the
Right.
state. State's different than
Right.
federal.
so what that means, and that's absurd.
I
That's,
agree.
that's definitely not what the intent of the statute is. It's an unforeseen byproduct of this, because if I'm, Joe Blow MEO from Owasco, I scoot over to the Ohio border, and I jump over the line, and I say, got to pay me 10 days. 10 days, 10 days, 6 times. Federal government says I have to.
24 hours.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to stay there at least 24
I'll
hours.
stand there 24 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
not what it's not what it's
Right.
designed for.
I agree.
And these laws, there's these opinions, but until a judge litigates it and says this is what the intent of the statute was, somebody's got to stand up. I'm guessing it's not going to be us, but somebody should.
It's expensive for us.
Yeah, we spent $30,000 on pickleball, so
Oh,
And it's getting a lot of use, believe me.
I'm surprised. Anyway,
$100,000.
All right, so any other questions or comments before we call the question? So let's do a roll call. Tammy?
Councilman Cornelius,
No,
Councilman Kerstetter,
As it's written there? We're just doing as, we're not gonna
Mhm.
table it? I'll say no.
Councilman Cachardi,
Yes.
Councilman Vitale,
yeah, I'm going with what our attorney said.
and Supervisor Wager.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is a resolution discussed at a previous board meeting to hire Mike Bolano as a laborer two from a seasonal labor two position. There is a vacancy that was a labor one position, so we're basically saving $26 an hour compared to what we were paying the previous person. And can I get a motion for discussion?
move.
Second,
Any
Is that
discussion?
Right, Mike?
yeah,
No discussion?
Doesn't this have to go up to be posted at the CSEA?
No, because it's, I called down there because like we talked to the union rep as well, because it's a non-competitive position, it does not have to be posted.
Okay.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Next motion is to approve corrective action plan in response to the New York State Comptroller's audit.
I'll make a motion for that.
Second, is there any discussion? Everybody's got a copy of that corrective action plan?
Yep. Consensus.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion for the audit and claims.
Any discussion, audit and claims? Hearing none,
Who seconded it?
Tony.
Tony.
hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Walt Aikman came in, I had to give Walt, before we go into executive session, I'll have Walt give us a brief update on the recycling center, wetland mitigation project consent order from the DEC.
Last Thursday, we took delivery of 95 of the 150 plants that the town was required to plant in the wetland portion of the project. They were shipped in from Missouri, some very nice plants. About 3/4 of the project area has been covered with topsoil, and this is the soil that Mr. Bruno's people have mixed up. It's a very fine sandy loam that they got from over Dickman's, mixed up with some older mulch that he had, and they've come up with a pretty decent material. About 3/4 done spreading it. They put some more over the guardrails so that it can be down very soon. But as you know, they keep getting pulled away by things like the tree across the street, and so on and so forth. Those trees will probably go in Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they'll begin the seeding operations with the specialized grass seed that arrived this summer. Then once we get into some serious cold weather, we can put in the dogwoods, the birch and the viburnums, a couple of the newer willows that are going in there. So they seem to be doing a great job, and I look forward to caging up those plants, especially the oaks, to try to keep the deer away from them.
Any questions so what's our legal deadline requirements for DEC to get this thing completed by?
We need to have all our plants in by, I believe, mid-November. And that means all our seeding and all of our plants. Every time we've had the DEC on site, they've been very impressed with the kind of work we've been doing. The Bobcat is a 4-cylinder diesel, and there's something wrong with one of the fuel ports near the fuel tank. I thought it was a lift pump, but lift pump is located in a funny location on the Bobcat. Any case, the technician was there today, and hopefully they'll put that back up into shape, and I foresee no trouble meeting the DEC's deadline.
You gotta wrap each tree with burlap or something to keep the deer away, or how are you gonna keep the deer away?
We bought 6 rolls of fencing, 5 rolls at 3 foot. And
Oh, like a
another roll at
construction
5
fence?
foot. And
Okay.
it's, each part of the fence is a 2x4 wire.
Oh, okay.
And then those are cut in 6-foot lengths to make 2-foot approximate diameter cages.
Hmm.
I'm not really concerned about the deer going after the willow, frankly, even the red maple or the sycamore. But the consultant specified 2 kinds of oak, and one of them is a pin oak. And the pin oaks are not only are they tricky to transplant, but they can sometimes end up as deer candy. And we're going to do our very best to protect them. And my idea is if we invest in these pretty decent plants that individually they're $12, say, but they're shipped from out of state. So the shipping was a pretty sizable part of the purchase order. But if you think we need to have survival over 6 years for the $5 or $6 you spend on the fencing,
Better do it, yeah.
well, let's go for it to try to maximize our survival right from the get-go.
Mhm. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, no other questions for Walt. We will try to get a motion to adjourn at
451.
4:51 to go into executive
I'll make a
session to
motion for that.
discuss contract negotiations.
I'll second it.
And personal issues.
So, just
Who's
for,
the second, Fred?
Mike, Timmy and Mike.
Terry and Mike.
You guys voted in the audit?
yes,
Yes.
You did, okay.
Yeah.
there won't be any business or any voting or anything after the executive session.
No,
No, correct.
no, I don't anticipate it.
No, I don't expect either, so we'll
Yeah.
shut down the,
We'll shut down that.
Yeah.
For those of you who are out there, we're doing the live feed. So once we download this tomorrow morning, you'll be able to go to our website. It's on the front page of our website.
On
And
YouTube.
it's,
yeah, it should be,
It'll be on
it
YouTube.
takes a little bit to, YouTube does it automatically,
Yeah.
so it's live now, you'll be able to access it in 20 minutes probably.
Yeah. yeah. So it'll be a link on our website if you want to. Jerry, if you're bored tonight and you want to listen to us again, you're welcome to, hopefully Yankees are winning and tonight we don't have to listen, we'll see what happens. So,
Did we vote? We didn't vote.
although vote to go into executive session, all those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna close up. See you, Jerry.
Don't tell me you're a Yankees fan.